Hello, 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 my beautiful empresses. Welcome back to Embody Your Empress. I'm Sarah King, your host of this amazing podcast and founder of Empress Nation. Today, we have a guest joining us who has a crystal ball into what your future could be looking like when we look at all different aspects of things. And I'm very excited to get into the juicy details. Stephanie Zito, welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm so glad to be here with you and everyone in Empress Nation.
Oh, absolutely. I love that when we first connected, you have almost like a restaurant menu of modalities that you call in and you use to
Mhm.
help women and especially in leadership and wealth. And I can't wait to hear more about that. So let's start off with finding about Stephanie, who she is as a human, as a soul, and how this has led you on your mission.
Yeah, I'm probably going to say something that might sound a little crazy. But
Go for it. We're
I
all about that. Yeah.
no, honestly, who am I? Really, I feel like some of us are here. Maybe you feel the same, and we're here for a bigger mission. And so I think that we have these souls, and this soul that was gifted this mission in this lifetime on this planet, and it's very playful. I love to play. I don't really follow the rules. I realize now why I didn't really fit in when I was younger because I don't fit in. I'm not meant to. And I think some of us are like that. We're pioneering. We see the bigger picture. We're like the astronomers. But for me, it's been quite the journey to really feel like I've landed at home. And I am home now. I work especially with entrepreneurial women who are looking to scale non-linearly, right? Like not the normal way. And we do that through energetics, manifesting, and through really solid strategy. So that's in a nutshell, like who I am, what I do. I've been a wilderness guide, a rock climbing guide. There's a time when I used to spend maybe half the year sleeping out under the stars. I've worked in Uganda as a Peace Corps volunteer, very service oriented. So I've had these like multiple like lifetimes already in this lifetime that brought me to this moment.
Oh my goodness. This sounds amazing. What kind of people are you working with normally? What's your typical client coming to you?
Yeah, it's mostly women who understand that there is a bigger mission than their own. There's a mission that's meant to move through them. And sometimes they think they have to follow a different way, like full-time job, or they can't quite fully speak their mission. It's like very intuitive or spiritual. And so I feel like I'm this conduit to help them really gain the courage and trust, plus the strategy to really succeed in that and really the courage to say things that maybe not everyone's going to understand or get, but there's certain people who 1000% are. And I truly believe, this group, this posse are meant to bring in the new earth, so to speak, meant to bring in a greater wealth, understanding amongst human beings, like greater stewardship for the earth. Very mission driven, very passionate, and also definitely in that cusp where because they're showing up, the fears, the blogs, that's gonna show up too because they are up leveling, because they're moving into that next level. Because I have a background in it. Yeah, it's just gonna show up. You're welcome. So I have a background in hypnosis. I help go into the Akashic records, like our soul's whole records. I'm a psychic. I really help nail like what is the thing that is like the tether or the rubber band, or maybe it's what dad used to say, or it's like fear of surpassing, or a lot of times it's actually fear of too much success too quickly, which there's ways to handle all of this. But hypnosis and the Akashic records are two of the modalities that I love to help us to get into congruence and to sync with who we are, who we know we are on the inside, and being that out in the world.
Mm. So I'm hearing you say that the woo woo, the spirituality, can actually help us increase our wealth, where often we have heard the opposite programming being brought in, where if you're spiritual, you can't be wealthy, like you'll have money blocks, you can't charge for your services, you can't go out and live a mission led life and make banks. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my God. It was just so satisfying. I got chills when I heard you reiterate that. I'm like, I need to listen to that sentence again. Because I can't believe I hadn't even really thought this is what I talk about all the time, but I hadn't distilled it like that. Yes, you heard that right. You heard that right. All of these things are programs. I think it's important to look back at history. Like I like to be the astronomer and see the big picture. Think about history. Think about all the ways in which the shamans, the indigenous communities, the ways in which we used to think about or treat abundance, right? Like maybe go way, way back. And then certain things like ego related, power related, greed related, because we have free will and those frequencies exist, those became predominant. And so now we got really ingrained into these systems where, like, even entrepreneurs, we have to work 9 to 5 or harder, or we think we have to adhere to the same structures. I've lived structures not unlike this at all. Like I said, I've lived out in the wilderness and I saved enough money to buy a house. Like these things, like they don't have to look the way we think they look. So the truth is, spirit is abundance. Like we are spirit. We already are abundant. If you look at nature, we're not that different from nature. Nature is literally abundant, right? I can go out and collect 1,000 leaves right now. I could collect more rocks than I could even fill my house with. Like crows, we have all these crows in our neighborhood right now. Like okay, we're good on crows. We have the abundance of crows. We don't need any more. I don't know what's happening, but it's crazy. They'll probably post a video of these. It's insane. But like, to let that show you the abundance. You are complaining about your mess in your house. You're welcome. That's abundance for you. When you have too many dishes stacked up, oh my God, you got to take out the trash. That's your abundance right there. It's like these signals of abundance. So, absolutely, spirit is abundance. We are spirit when we allow that to channel through that and be the channel instead of stopping it and making it harder than it needs to be. Boy, we crack open a whole other level.
Oh my gosh. I've just got this visual of, oh, I've got money blocks. Oh no, the crows are coming in. They must represent money. Oh, there's so many. There's too many.
Picture that, like, I will send you this video, Sarah, because a picture like, I don't even understand. I live in Southern California. I do not know what's happening. But just picture each crow is like a stack of $100 bills, and you're just like, they're just flying through the sky. Really, that is actually true.
Yeah. That is so cool though. That is so cool. I love that. And I'm a visual person. So
Mhm.
having nature is an
Mhm.
abundance. They're all to look around and be like, there is abundance everywhere. Yes, I'm so abundant.
Mhm.
Feel that within me is such a beautiful and easy gift to be able to bring into
Mhm.
someone's awareness. Because
Yeah.
often we can,
Yeah.
especially this as we move through the years, we can get really tunnel visioned on the dollar
Yeah.
figure, bottom line. And I
Mhm.
love what you were saying about how we, in structuring our days, we
Mhm.
create a business to give us more time freedom. And yet, often as female entrepreneurs, we end up working harder, longer,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
just slogging it out and stepping back and being
Mhm.
like, hang on a minute, I don't have to
Mhm.
work a 12-hour day to try and make
Yes.
for the busy that
Uh,
is expected.
yes. I don't have to model this off of a patriarchal corporate style. It doesn't that might be the backstory that I'm coming from, but let me feel into like my feminine energy. Let me feel into my flow energy. And I really believe there's a few things that can help us with this. One of the things that I teach is something called vision casting. And I think vision casting is an important process for manifesting what you really want in your life and to manifest what you want on a daily basis because the energy that I'm bringing to my day, if I feel chaotic, if I already start my day and I feel like I'm already behind because I have kids, I'm married, I get the kids off to school. I dropped everything today at 1:30 because my son texted me and he wanted me to pick him up instead of the whatever the carpool situation. I'm like, I'm there. The beauty is I get to do that. We get to maybe you get to travel if you want to. Maybe you get to actually look at like these prototypical numbers that we talk about. How long have we been talking about making $10,000 a month? Have we been talking about that for the last 10 years? Have we not had inflation? What? It reminds me of like the Austin Powers movie, If This Dates Me, where there's whatever, Dr. Evil, and he wants to win $1 million, and everyone's like, really? That's all you want? And he's, no, I want it's like present day. It is, but it doesn't. Why are we're so wrapped into these, even those numbers are compressing us, right? So when we get really clear about what do I really want, let ourselves play in that field, that's important. And then it's actually really important to have strategies that work. And if you have strategies right now that you're using and you're spending a lot of time and you're making the reels and you're honestly like doing the content, and it's literally not translating into the amount of money that you would like to be making, then we need to do an audit. Like you are an ecosystem. Your life, your business is an ecosystem. And if you think of nature girl here, a thriving ecosystem. Picture your ecosystem. Is it the desert? Is it the Bahamas? Is it like that ocean ecosystem? Is it mountains? I just picked one. Is it the shopping? Is it Paris? There's all ecosystems. You have to picture like the sun is like your energy, right? So the energy that you're bringing to your business, is it fear? Is it lack? Is it abundance? Is it trust? Is it channeling something beyond you? That is everything. And that is the one thing everyone who works with me, they get energy classes like on a consistent basis. Like we do energy things consistently. We have to, it's our hygiene, just like brushing your teeth. And then in addition to that, we have to look at what is your flow? Do you have a great influx of new people? Do you have a great influx? Somehow we have attracted an abundance of crows. Our ecosystem is thriving for crows. So if crows are, you weren't going to really run with this analogy. If they're your ideal clients, you're like, oh my God, they're everywhere. Are you attracting them like that? If you're not, we should look at that piece of your ecosystem, your attraction. Let's say that you get all of them. Oh no, I'm too busy. That's the fear. That's why I'm going to block it. Do you have things in place to handle that influx when it comes? It's really like one step in front of the other. You don't need everything to handle that abundance of crows, of ideal clients. Like until you get there, just you can make money tomorrow in your business. Like it's not that hard. It's just that I think, I don't know, I've seen, especially as women, we have a lot of stuff that has been gifted to us that kind of hold us back. And we're afraid of shining too bright. And we're afraid of what people are going to say. And we're afraid of, there's a lot of stuff I think that I've noticed many women seem to hold that I love to help us unpack so we can move into that place of brilliance that lit from within, that we have it.
Yeah. Because what can be on the other side of that, like when we actually like transition from holding ourselves back, it's limitless, right? We can be.
You were already lit from within. Picture when you were, not for everyone. Not everyone had this experience. Some people have had traumatic backgrounds, and when they were 5 years old, like they don't have their memories. But I would imagine if you can envision, even if you didn't have that, even if you can't remember, envision yourself as a little girl. Envision yourself looking in the mirror and dressing up and playing mermaid or whatever, and just being lit from within, right? Like the truth is literally limitless.
Oh, I love that actually. Bring it back to the daydreams. Like I'm a big fan of daydreaming and allowing yourself to play with the vision of what could be. Because I feel like I don't know what I want until I sit in a really good daydream and like really embody it and feel it. And then because often social media, you can see something and be like, oh, is that something I want on my vision board? And then you're like, no, it's not. And so for
Yeah.
me, like really actually being in that daydream state allows my soul to come in and co-create with me and be like, this is where we're heading. And it feels good and juicy and delicious. And I'm like, oh, now I've seen it, I felt it,
Mm.
and now we can call it in.
You can embody it. Yeah. That's the power of getting out of this structured part of the mind and into the creative space, like into the creative juices. Absolutely. Yeah.
Love it. So obviously, like energy is really important for wealth.
Mm. If we break it down to, I think this is science. Everything has a frequency. There's scientists that have studied the frequency of every single thing, the frequency of love, the frequency of a healthy kidney, right? They're using frequency to eliminate cancer, right? Because we have the frequency of healthy cells. So if we think of it that way, we think of wealth, certain even types of wealth as frequencies. it truly is matching up with that frequency, right? It is matching up with that energy. And when we're on board with that, and it's worth looking at, like, what stories do we have around wealth? If we look at those stories are carrying frequencies, and when we can release those or eliminate them, and we can bring in the frequencies of what we desire. And one of the things that I love is we can play this game, like you could play this with a friend or a spouse or someone. Just what if we did this? Get into that creative place. What if this? What if that? What if? We can turn that into asking the question, ask yourself questions instead. Instead of doing your affirmations, I'm so wealthy, ask the question, how is it that I'm so wealthy? How is it that I have tens of thousands of dollars coming into my bank account every day? Why is it that I'm so wealthy? Because your brain, your mind, you want to use the mind in a good way instead of worrying about stuff. Put it to work figuring this out. It wants to solve problems. So give it this healthy problem to solve. Like, why am I so healthy? How is it that I'm so fit? You're going to actually begin to embody that by solving the problem for yourself. You're going to give yourself the answers. You're going to show up at the fridge and choose something healthy instead of the candy you bought for your kids. We just had Halloween. Actually, not just. It's been almost a month, but we still have Halloween candy sitting around.
Oh
We need
my
to get rid
God,
of that stuff.
it is dangerous.
It's actually dangerous.
I love that though, because so often we could get wrapped up in the fear, the lax, the mind swirl of the negative sort of side of
Mhm,
things. I love that you said, let's put our brains to use, that let's give it a job in a healthy
mhm,
way,
mhm.
let it problem solve. The healthy thing.
Mhm. And the truth is, and I've been through some circumstances as well where I don't want to underestimate the fact that when things are hard in life and when maybe you've lost a job or your spouse has lost a job or there's something that happens that feels chaotic or feels out of your control, like this is the time when the practices that we're talking about right now are probably even more important. Like they're the most important because I know what it's like to wake up and already feel anxiety. I know what it's like to feel my shoulders like rising up really high and, trying to do my work in the world, but feeling that sense of impending doom creeping in. Like I've been there. I know what that's like in my own world and what's happened personally. But I also see it as a gift because I understand that place. And I also understand, again, just how important it is to make the decision that you're not allowing that to run the show. That's what I've had to do. I remember waking up and I was like, "Whoa, this is not my normal dominant energy, and this is not gonna run this show because it doesn't feel good and it's not helping me at all." And if I don't wanna leak energy, if I don't wanna leak energy to things that I don't want to entertain, why would I give energy to things that I don't want to entertain? Why would I give energy to these things, right? The worry isn't making me another dollar, right? But when I raise my vibration, when I get into that state where I know and trust, then I can operate from that place where I'm not diminishing my energy. I'm not bringing it down. I'm not drawing it away from wealth. I'm allowing myself to practice and be in the place where I can manifest the things that I desire. And some of those moments have actually brought me to the place that I always know I was meant to be, but I was scared or I was hesitant or I had another block to move through. Because I've noticed as I've up leveled in my business and monetarily, there's been another level to unlock. It's been another block that wants to show up. Thank you so much. That means I'm up leveling. Really glad to see you.
Absolutely. I heard the phrase new level, new devil one time. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you mentioned earlier, like in your younger days, you felt like you didn't fit in. I know there is a lot of women out there that are feeling they don't fit in. They might be in a more traditional job, they're feeling they don't fit in, or they might be just starting off on their entrepreneurial journey. And what their mission is calling them forward, they might be censoring or holding back, trying to
Yeah.
make it look more palatable for the mainstream, what is already out there, because they're feeling like they don't fit in. They're feeling like what they're called to is going to
Mhm.
blow things up in a good way, but it doesn't
Mhm.
make
Mhm.
sense. What kind of tips would you have for them?
Yeah, you said that so well because this is exactly what happens all the time. And I just want us to remember there are, I don't know how many people there are in the world, billions. I'm going to say the wrong number. There's some amount of billions of people, right? Like
Lots of
picture
billions.
billions,
Yep.
picture all those zeros, right? So a Christmas, billions of people. So picture like out of billions of people, 10,000 people would probably be like 0.001% of a billion people. Like that amount of people, and if you could touch the lives of 10,000 people, aren't you willing to believe there probably are 10,000 other people who are exactly on the same train as you? And I'm willing to bet that if you're one of those people that you know you've got that kind of thing in you, you probably are watching other people who are successful and maybe you're, wow, they're doing it. But the truth is that there are these like cultural norms that, look, who doesn't want to belong, right? We know that's evolutionary, so we don't go out and die by ourselves. Like, of course we want to belong. Of course we want to be loved. I think the thing is that for me, I am an intuitive, and as my intuition grew, things that I resisted opened up, like mediumship opened up. I remember a friend was like, "Oh, are you going to do mediumship?" I was like, "Nah." And then you're in the intuitive field. Of course, someone's grandfather is going to come through. Like, you're
What's your choice?
what?
Trust.
So, well, now you've got some stuff going on with aliens. Now you got some stuff going on with fairies and dragons. And I'm like, I'm going to talk about this. In my world, I grew up, and I say this with all due respect, I grew up with a very Catholic and a very Catholic mother and very worried for my soul, very not on board. And I remember this decision moment because of some things she was saying online. And I was like, okay, I could block her and I could just talk to the friends, but then she wouldn't have to see it and I wouldn't have to deal. And I was like, wait a second, that just feels like a lot of work. Right. And I was like, I am literally preventing myself from helping people who love this work, who are so on board. And so I had a conversation with her and I was actually willing to go to that place if she needed to disown me, that like that was her choice. I relieved her of needing to like what I do. I relieved myself of needing her to understand what I do. I relieved myself of the people I went to high school with to understand what I do. I relieved myself of my neighbors and the moms I see in the pickup line and in Lululemon understanding what I do. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I took the meaning out of it because I have clients and they're like, these ladies from high school. And I'm like, are you going to let Becky keep you from helping women lose weight? Are you going to let Heather keep you from helping women to grow their businesses intuitively? Really? You're going to let Heather keep you from that? And they're like, yeah. Sure. There's a fear of being seen. There's a fear of probably failing in front of people. I think the main thing is to understand that this when you are feeling that, what it's telling you is to circle back to self-love. And to circle back to if you're in self-love and you love yourself, then I would imagine you understand that you love this mission and this thing lights you up. And it's really fun to talk about it with like-minded people. So go find them. Because
Mm.
for me, I felt lonely. I didn't have great friends. And as soon as I started to really get visible online, guess what? Some friend from the neighborhood's like, hey, I read tarot cards. Someone else is, I've been thinking about mediumship. And now we have this soul sister group that's like super solid because we get each other. I don't feel alone. Like I have a sisterhood. And you can create that too with the people that you're meant to serve and others who become your friends and allies along the way.
Mhm. Isn't it funny? Like we keep these sides of ourselves so secret. And I know there is conditioning and there's a generational and past life things at play there. However, if we spoke about a spirituality like we did in sports teams, then everyone would know. Like everyone knows what kind of sports team people back, and it's open conversation and it comes up all the time. So just hearing you talk about that, I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if we were just like, I'm gonna make a t-shirt. I'm like, yeah, I'm the tarot queen or something. And they're like, to express what we love. Be
So be like, yeah, be like Spiritual Gangster is a brand that sells sweatshirts for $140 that's saying things like, I'm the tarot queen. Could you find that? Like, it's literally being monetized. You know what, Sarah? We should do like a reel where you and I talk about spiritual things, like people talk about sports teams. I love that. I love that.
I love that too. That'll be amazing. It'll be amazing. Oh my God. Can you imagine the fantasy, like the fantasy spiritual team? Fantasy
Exactly. You
football?
know, what what goddesses are we gonna root for? Goddesses, we got like dragons over here.
And for Angel Michael. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I got Gabriel on my team. And we got like
yeah.
Shrey. We got like,
Oh my
oh,
gosh. What a fun way to look at life. Like we're talking about leadership, we're talking about business, we're talking about money and wealth and abundance.
mm,
We're also just talking about life, like being who
yeah.
we are and allowing
Mm,
it to evolve and change and like feed into that intuitive side and being like, does this feel right to me? To put this on Facebook, yeah, it does. Someone needs to hear that. Okay, I'm going to do it. Forget what Becky says.
mm,
Forget what Heather says. Forget what
mm,
Ron says. I'm just going to
yeah.
put it out there because someone needs to hear it. And I know when
Mm,
my gifts have amped up a level, I'm like having the conversation going, do you really want me to say that to someone? And Source was like, yeah, you got to. And then I'm like talking to my mentor and I'm like, got this message. And she's like, you got the message, you got to pass it on. I'm like, and the first time I did it and I broached the subject like tentatively, but factual
mm,
for what I had received. And I'm like, you take
mm,
what you want. And it was
mm,
received so well. And the feedback loop within that, the situation I had described had played out. They had made a
mm,
different decision. And I was just like so grateful that A, the message had come through me.
mm,
B, I had the courage to share it and that it had been received and taken on board
mm.
because
Beautiful.
the
Yeah.
outcome had it not have been that way. If I had sat on that
Mm.
and shared, I wouldn't have given myself.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I hear you. Absolutely. I think of, yeah, the courage maybe because a lot of times I think when we are feeling that fear or when we're thinking we're projecting what someone might think of us, someone will actually think that of us. That is true. Right. But if we are detached from it, like it only matters in as much as we don't feel confident within ourselves. So it just provides us a place for even deeper self love. That's the message. It's not so much about what Becky's going to say because sure, she'll probably say something. I don't know. It's not really my business. But the other part of it is I love that you felt so guided by source, guided by spirit, and had the courage to speak, even if it would have maybe been ill received. And the truth is, I feel that sometimes we are like kind of earth angels for one another, like we're conduits for one another. And it's if you just feel compelled, right? You feel compelled to reach out to someone. It's not normal, it's not typical, but you just feel this, or you just get this download. The worst thing is that we get rejected. The worst thing is that they say no, or they're like, no, thanks. Look, if you got kids, you're going to learn how to deal with rejection. I don't want that for dinner.
Every
Especially for
day,
girls.
every single day.
I don't want to wear that. I don't want to go there.
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. It's beautiful. All right, Stephanie, I have some Empress questions for you.
Mm,
I would love to
okay.
know, how do you embody your Empress?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think for me, it's like when I really allow myself to just wear certain things that just feel really beautiful. And I just allow myself to feel so good when I'm just walking around like the supermarket or I've given myself time to take a bath, like really slow down and just be with myself and my beautiful body that is 51 now and getting a little softer and, like, just
Oh, you're
also
looking great.
embracing thank you. No, I appreciate that, but, like, for me, embracing, like, the belly, embracing the fact I've had 2 C-sections, and that's just how I am, like, loving who I am. I think that's, like, a big piece of embracing my empress.
Oh, I love that so much. I love as women, we evolve and the acceptance of our evolving bodies is part of our journey. Go for that.
Oh, yeah.
And what does your Empress energy feel like for you?
She really does feel, like, lit from within. She feels joyous. She feels, like, present, engaged, just, like, freshly alive. Really happy to be alive. Yeah, there's, like, a sense of, like, curiosity of what's next, like, what's happening, and when you're manifesting, it's, like, delightful, right? So, there's just this sense of, like, aliveness and even in the mundane, like, what's next? Just that sense of curiosity.
I love that so much. Beautiful. And what are your parting words of wisdom for your nation?
For me, I think it's really just envisioning yourself as that empress, right? However you might see you, her, whether it's now or in some past life, and just envision just what that feels like. Envision how people are around you, right? That is you. And so when you think of that is your leadership, right? How do you lead? If you are the empress, you are helping people in a big way. There's a lot of power in that, a lot of beautiful feminine power. So just envisioning what is that? How does that look? How does that sound? How does that move through you?
Absolutely. It was when the name came to me, like it was very much what you're just describing. It's a woman very much in her feminine, but she is leading not in the masculine structure, but from her feminine. And that is how we change this world that we're living in. She is stepping forward as she was meant to be, unapologetically genuine, authentic, without the filters, the masks. And she's stepping forward and being like, this is what we are. This is how we can live. So
Beautiful.
it's
Beautiful. Oh, it gives me chills.
oh
Same
gosh.
frequency. I love it.
I just like alignment. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Stephanie. You even have a beautiful gift for our listeners in the show description that they can reach out and learn more from you about you and connect with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. It's really been a pleasure.
Oh, wonderful.